whatever a withdrawal ended up looking like, it wasn't going to be pretty. There was going to be some, for lack of a better way of putting it, bad things that happened. Just because, remember, all the way back in 2017, the Taliban controlled about 40% of Afghanistan, 40% of the districts that were there, or they contested them, meaning they were battling there. We had 2,500 troops still in the country, which is what the Hawks are now saying. If we just sent them back in or kept them there, we could hold off the Taliban. Taliban was still moving into Kandahar, which is the second biggest city in the country. They had consolidated real enormous control over the rural districts in Afghanistan because those farmers who were there, the real working poor, felt alienated and disenfranchised by the government that we put in place because it was so corrupt and because it was skimming off the top and because it was generally speaking very weak. So again, it's all very complex. And the idea that it was just 2,500 troops, or the Pentagon should have come up with a blueprint, or this or that, it's probably more complicated than that, and we probably won't know for a while.
What's your take?
I agree with Matt entirely. I couldn't have said it
this
better.
This is our podcast back in the day, just us vociferously agreeing with each other. I agree with you. But, yeah.
No, I mean, I definitely want to emphasize the point that the military has slow walked this from the beginning. And as you recall, that, you know, President Trump ostensibly wanted to get out too, and actually went so far as to sign an agreement with the Taliban to get out, and the military, you know, bit their teeth and leaked their dismay to the press, and nothing was done. He wanted to get everybody out, the troops out, by the end of December of last year. That didn't happen. And so finally we had this 2,500 by May 1, which was the part of the agreement. And that's, you know, so the fact that they didn't prepare, not so much, you know, you're right, they had everything packed up, but they didn't prepare for this exit strategy to get all of these special immigrant visas personnel out, the interpreters and the translators and other assistants. And I think that's really a sticking point for Americans right now, because, and particularly the veterans. They know that the military had time to do this. Why didn't they have those SIVs out of there months ago, much less a week ago or 2 weeks ago? And I agree with Matt. We won't know right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was the slow walking by the military. And yeah, and I'm sure we can find some blame in the White House as well. They didn't want to look like they were panicking by pulling out all these people and having these C-17s leave packed with translators and whatnot. But I'm sorry, if that's what it takes, I would rather have that than have these images of people clinging to the planes and falling off wings, which we have today.
Yeah.